Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud Pathshala's Linux Fundamentals video. This is a video series in which we are discussing basic Linux commands that we would be using on a day-to-day basis and which is very essential for the daily working of an SRE or a DevOps engineer in the field of IT. We would be discussing mkdir. This is used to create a directory in a Linux file system. Using this command, we can either create a single directory or multiple directories at once and set the permissions for each one of them. The users executing this command must have the privileges to make a new folder in the parent directory, or they may receive a permission denied error, which we would try to replicate in the lab section of this video. The syntax is pretty much simple. We just have to enter mkdir command with certain flags or options and then the name of the directory which we have to create. If you have to create multiple folders in a sequence, you could use something called as mkdir, the first folder and then the second folder itself, and that should give you the basic details. You could use the flag -p, which also means parents, to create a directory between two existing folders. For example, mkdir-p music/2020/songs would actually create the folder 2020 and then songs. We would also be looking into this in the coming video. The next flag that we have in mkdir is -m, that is used to set the permissions that we use during the creation of the directory. Let's now jump into the lab for mkdir. For this, I would be logging into my Ubuntu virtual machine that is running on my local host. In the VirtualBox environment, the command that I'm using is ssh ubuntu @ the IP address, which is in this case the loopback IP. The port at which I am SSHing into the server is 2022. The SSH is working on port 22, but I have a port forwarding enabled on this virtual machine. So once I log into the system, it would ask me for the password because this is a password authentication. Once I'm in, I can clear the screen. So first let's try to see in which folder we are exactly in. So we are currently in the pwd folder. Let's go to the root folder and look at all the folders. I would go into the opt folder, and if you see that there are no folders inside this current directory. Now if I have to make the folder mkdir, and if I say I have to make the folder music inside this, I could just say mkdir music. But then what you would see is we are actually getting a permission denied error, because in the opt folder the permissions that are given are to the root user and the users which are in the root group. So what I can do is do a sudo mkdir music, and this would ask me for the password authentication, and once I give in the password, it will then create the folder for me. What I can also now do is create another folder called as songs over here. So mkdir music songs would actually create the folder songs inside music, but as you see, I don't have the permission, so I'll do a sudo mkdir songs, and this would create the songs folder over here. Now what I can do is I can use the flag -p in order to create music songs. What I can do is create songs of 2020 into this folder, and if you see, this has created a separate folder 2022, and this time inside the folder 2022 I would again have the folder songs. So it is leaving the existing songs folder as it is and creating a new folder called as music 2022 and songs. Similarly, we could also set the permissions for this by using the flag -m. So what I could do is, if you look at the songs folder, the current permission set that we have is read write execute, which is 7, read execute, which is 5, and this is 5. What we can do is create a folder mkdir with -m flag 777, and I could call it as dir. Now this is a bad habit that I have, but you always should be running it with a sudo command. This time, if you look at the dir folder, you would see that dir is having the execute permissions all through it. So this is how you would create your directory if you want to have some permissions set to it by default. Thank you so much for watching. Keep having a good time.